It looks like it might be over for a potential Cameron Johnson trade, as some news came out today saying that the Oklahoma City Thunder were never interested in him, never were calling about him, trying to see if he was available, and instead they're going to stick it out with their guys. But I think this came down because of the Chet Holmgren injury and then the Isaiah Hartenstein injury as well. Let me adjust that mic there. But I think that's when it all came down, all right, with when Chet Holmgren is evaluated. He's supposed to be back after the All-Star break. That's what I'm predicting. He could be back a week before, but at that point, you might as well rest him those 2 games that you have left before the All-Star, weekend festivities. Then have him come back immediately after that. He should be good to go. Isaiah Hartenstein reevaluated in a week. He'd probably be good to go then as well. Now with Shai out, I think he'll be back for the Nets game, but it wouldn't surprise me they rest him against the Nets and Jazz. Both are teams that the Thunder should beat without Shai, Hartenstein, and Chet, realistically. So we could see Shai rest for a little bit, but it just kind of raised a question. Is that the reason Cameron Johnson is off their radar now? I don't think he's necessarily off the radar. I think they're still talking. Cameron Johnson could potentially play against the Thunder Sunday night. I would be, I wouldn't be surprised if he does. If he doesn't play or does play, I think the Nets GM would probably be trying to shop him around to Presti that game specifically. Like, hey, we know you got draft picks. We know Cam would be a great addition to the team. Why not look at him and see if you like him? So we're going to break down that and why I still think a trade is going to happen involving the Thunder, whether that be for Cameron Johnson or just, trying to replenish some draft picks down the line. Before we get into all of that, though, just a quick reminder that around 71% of you guys that are watching these videos coming back on a regular basis are not subscribed to the channel. If you enjoy the content we're putting out, you're coming back on a regular basis, and you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, go ahead and do that. It's the best way to support the channel here. Trying to reach 10,000 by 2026. I know we can hit that, but we can only do that if you guys hit that subscribe button. With that out of the way, let's go ahead and get into talking about Cam Johnson a little bit, as it has been quite a spectacle regarding this guy. I mean, like, it's been something that we've talked about for probably 2 months or so now. It's just been something going around where it's like, yeah, it just makes perfect sense for why OKC would trade. I get the reasons of you don't want to mess up the, kind of chemistry going on right now, but you really wouldn't mess it up all that much. All right. The reason it was messed up with Gordon Hayward is because you traded, really 2 guys that were, vocal, I don't want to say leaders, but were vocal in the locker room in Poku and Trey Mann, especially Trey. But in this trade, you give up Kenrich Williams or Isaiah Joe, one of the two. It wouldn't be a big one. But with the news that came out recently, all right, by Jake Fisher, this is what he had to say. The Oklahoma City Thunder have been speculated as a team that could trade for any number of available players at the trade deadline. That list is headlined by Cam Johnson of the Brooklyn Nets. The Thunder aren't focused on outside acquisitions. Oklahoma City is instead looking forward to the return of injured players like Chet Holmgren and Isaiah Hartenstein. Given their place at the top of the Western Conference standings, Oklahoma City is also reluctant to disrupt what has been a top team this year and one that has great team chemistry. So, I get it why the team, Presti and everyone, would be reluctant on trading anyone, all right, and trading for anyone. I truly get it. However, if you have the chance to make a team better, especially with Cam Johnson right here, you need to go out there and try to make it happen. I'm just being honest about that. Cameron Johnson is an upgrade over players like Isaiah Joe and Kenrich Williams, especially Kenrich Williams, okay? Not trying to hate on them or anything, not trying to throw shade their way whatsoever, like you guys try to spin it. It's just fact of the matter. Cameron Johnson is a better player than both those guys, all right? Fact of the matter, basketball statistics prove that. If you can make that trade happen, you can make it happen. If not, oh well. So what? It's not the end of the world. It is fine. All right. It is going to be okay. Like, you don't have to worry about that whatsoever. Another reason I feel like this trade isn't happening now, where I've talked with people around, close. I don't want to say close to Thunder, but I did talk with someone the other day and saying, like, yeah, it seems like it's going to happen. Okay. Clearly they were wrong. Clearly they were wrong. I'm not going to throw names out there, all right, because they want to remain anonymous, but clearly they were wrong. It's looking like it won't happen. However, I feel like this is the reason, though, all right? What Jake Fisher had to write about rest. With the Thunder announcing this week that Holmgren is making progress and will be reevaluated in 3 to 5 weeks from his fractured pelvis, Hartenstein is going to be out for at least a week due to a left calf strain. With both big men returning soon, Oklahoma City is focused on how they will reintegrate them into the lineup. Mark Daigneault could play both bigs together or could use them as a starter backup combo. I feel like that is the reason why we're not going to see a trade. I feel like that is the reason right there. With Chet coming back very soon, like I mentioned at the start of this video, I think it's going to be post All-Star break. I think that's when he should return. Will he return then? I don't know. But I do think that's when he should return, and more than likely will return back to the court and play for the Thunder. Hartenstein back in a week or so. Going to see how they play together. And I get it. It's hard to mesh all these guys together at the same time. That's why I was kind of urging for, once a guy like Joe became available to trade, you make that trade, mesh Cam Johnson in, then you can mesh Chet in with this squad right here. I see the reasons now why not to, if all three of these guys are going to be back at the same time or around that same time frame. All right, it's going to be really hard to mesh three guys together all at the same time. It's going to be really difficult to do that. I completely get that. It's just, at the end of the day, if you think you can make it happen, you think you can make it happen. I still think a trade will happen at some point. I don't know who that's going to be for, or even if it is for someone. I really like Daigneault Sharp over in Brooklyn. I'm really excited to see how he plays tomorrow against the Thunder. Still, I wouldn't bet the house on going after and getting Daigneault Sharp or trading for someone. I could see us trading, someone that's not going to get time come playoffs, all right, for some more draft picks in the future. I could see that happening. Or a young guy be like, okay, let's take a shot on you. Let's see how you can do with, limited time that we can give you, whether that's in the G League or in a blowout win against someone here in the NBA. I could see that happening. Also, got to keep in mind, March Madness is coming around, and I saw Taylor Peterson over at the Uncontested Podcast. Go give them a listen. Go check out Taylor Peterson on Twitter and everything. But he did have this tweeted out, all right? He said, Sam Presti was at the OU basketball game. Now, I want to get it out there. I really like Jeremiah Fierce. I think he's a great prospect in this year's draft, all right? The fact he's here at the game, potentially scouting Fierce, who could end up landing around that kind of coveted, 9 through 12, 13 range for that 76ers pick. Something to keep your eye out on, all right? Presti's probably more worried now about scouting, look, this 76ers pick is probably going to convert to us the more we look at it. Keep that one, all right? We get a potentially, best case scenario, 7th overall pick right there. He's probably looking at a guy like Jeremiah Fierce somewhere nearby. He was at an OSU basketball game the other day as well. I can't remember who they were playing against. I think it was Houston. But he was possibly also scouting there as well, staying local. Maybe he's just checking out games. I don't know. But I do like the fact that he's at the OU basketball game, checking out Jeremiah Fierce. I think he's a great player. He reminds me a lot of Russell Westbrook a little bit. When I watch him play, that's who he kind of reminds me of his intensity. So it wouldn't surprise me if Presti tries to find a way to nab Jeremiah Fierce away from OU in this coming draft. And maybe that's another reason why he doesn't want to trade at all. He doesn't want to lose his pick, and he really values all the players in this draft, which I get it as well. It's just, at the end of the day, I'm not mad if he doesn't trade for Cam. I'm also not mad if he does. I'm not mad if he trades for Daigneault Sharp. I'm not mad if he doesn't. I'm not mad if he doesn't replenish picks. And I'm not mad if he does, all right? At the end of the day, his moves are going to work out, okay? I just have a feeling that some trade's going to happen involving getting some picks back. At this rate, I feel like that's what's going to happen because he's going to want to keep replenishing and keep a key, kind of 4 guys for the squad. That's what I'm looking at right now after everything that we've learned recently. And also, Presti doesn't ever talk about who he's trying to trade for, all right? He keeps it very hush-hush. I think that's another thing where, the fact that it was reported, apparently they haven't been interested at all. Is that really the case? All right. They like to keep it hush-hush over there. It was quiet for about a week regarding that news. Maybe it's still on. I don't know. I don't think anyone really knows. Cameron Johnson might not even get traded at all. All right. It's very hard to tell. That's all I got for this video. Let me know about, pretty much everything. I kind of went into detail about this. I talked about Chet a little bit, talked about Hartenstein's injury. I talked about Cameron Johnson, Daigneault Sharp even, and then a little pre-draft, preview for you guys. Just, let me know what you guys personally think about everything that we discussed. And, really, I'm interested in who you guys want us to try to get in the draft this year. All right, that's all I got. I'll see you guys in the next video.